In this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways that you can make $1 million. Check this out.
Want free help to grow your business? Go to 52ways.com.
So when it comes to making $1 million, there's of course lots of different ways that you can do that. You may want to get involved in property, you may want to get involved in shares, or you might be talented enough to play in the NBA. However, if you don't have any of those talents behind you, then the best way to make serious dollars is to start your own business. Or if you're an existing business owner, to better optimize and grow the business that you already have. Now, this formula that I'm about to show you was taught to me by a guy called Robert Allen, and I've used it all throughout my business career. And in fact, I used this formula to create 3 million-dollar companies before the age of 30. So let's check it out. So what it involves is basically working out what are you going to sell your product for. Now, if you sell a product for $1, you have to sell 1 million units in order to make $1 million. However, if we change the equation just a little bit, in fact, if we add just 1 zero, we can sell a product for $10, but actually only now need to sell 90% less. We only need to sell 100,000 in order to make our $1 million. So every time we add a zero over here, we get to take off a zero on the other side, which is pretty cool. So let's go a bit further. If you sell a product for $100, you now only need to sell 10,000 units in order to make $1 million. If you go further and you add a zero and your product sells for $1,000, you only need to sell 1,000, which sounds a lot more achievable, right? And you still make your $1 million. If you sell a product for $10,000, then you only need to sell 100 to get the same result. If you then up it to 100,000, which could be quite challenging, but just go with me for a moment, you only need to sell 10. And if you sell a product for $1 million, then you only need to sell 1 of them in order to achieve your goal. Now you can have a bit of fun with this and apply this principle to pretty much any business or industry. Say for example, you were in the fitness industry. You could have some fun by drawing this out and starting to ask yourself the question, what products could I sell for $1? What products could I sell for $10? And you continue to go up the ladder and you can look at what options are available to you and what is the likelihood that you're going to be able to sell that many units. So for example, let's take a look. Let's just imagine you had a fitness business. Now, this is best done maybe with a few friends, a few glasses of wine, maybe a pizza, and you can have some fun. But let's just play with it for a moment. What could you sell for $1? Well, maybe you could sell a fridge magnet, for example, that has some inspirational quotes to help you to become healthier. So every time you open the fridge, you're going to be looking at those quotes. That could be an option. Let's go on to $10. What could you sell for $10? Well, maybe you're going to sell a cookbook, for example, and after your expenses, you're going to make about $10, and so now you only need to sell 100,000. What could you sell for $100? Well, maybe now you could sell a piece of exercise equipment, for example, and you might get a spot on the shopping channel. And if you sell 10,000 units of that exercise machine, then you'll be able to make $1 million. What could you sell for $1,000? Well, maybe you're going to sell a gym membership, for example, and your gym membership costs $1,000 per year. Now you only need 1,000 members in order to make $1 million. What could you sell for $10,000? Now this is where things get really interesting, and this is where you've got to use the power of creativity and imagination to think a little bit further. What about, for example, that you actually sold, for example, a license to a fitness program to help other trainers in order to start their own business? That could be something that you could sell for $10,000 if you package it all up. And now you only need to sell 100 of those and you've now made $1 million. Now, if you go a bit further and look at $100,000, what could you sell for $100,000? Well, maybe you're going to do a complete fit out of a gymnasium, including all of the equipment. And someone else that wants to start a gym could invest $100,000 and have everything taken care of so they can walk in and their gym is effectively ready to go. Now, this is where it really gets fun because you then can ask yourself the question, what could I sell for $1 million? Because if I can create a product that I can sell for $1 million, I need to find one person that wants what I have to offer and I could make $1 million. So I'm just going to really go out on a limb here and say, for example, imagine if you approached Arnold Schwarzenegger and said, I would like to hire you for 3 days. Would you be able to find somebody out of the 7 or 8 billion people that there are on the planet that would pay $1 million to spend 3 days with Arnold Schwarzenegger and working out at the gym every single day? Perhaps you could find someone that would be prepared to invest that amount of money. And maybe you could do a profit share on that with Arnold, and you've now made yourself hundreds of thousands or $1 million. So there you have it. This is a great formula for helping you to make $1 million from your business. Try it out, have some fun, and I look forward to hearing how you go.
Want more great tips to grow your business? Then it's time to attend Australia's best one-day business workshop. Go to 52ways.com and claim your free tickets today.